All right, now operating segments, right? IFRS 8. First of all, what we need to look at is the scope of the standard, right? Standard, basically IFRS 8 applies to individual or separate financial statements. Separate financial statements is you make your FS according to IS 27, right? Or consolidate financial statements if you're part of a group, right? And you're the parent, right? Or you're one of the subsidiaries of the parent, right? You will obviously make your financial statement, separate financial statement according to IS 27. That is a different case. If you talk about the parents' group financial statements, right? In that case also, IFRS 8 applies if number one, you're a publicly listed company. That means either your debt or your equity instrument is listed on the stock market, right? Secondly, if you're in the process of listing, even then IFRS 8 will apply on your financial statements. All right. Next up, what is an operating segment? Obviously, the standard is related to operating segments. How do you identify an operating segment, right? We're not talking about whether the segment is reportable or not. We're just talking over here. We need to discuss, or we're discussing whether a particular component constitutes a segment or not. All right. So number one, it's a component of an entity. All right. How do you know or what exactly is a component of an entity, right? A component is basically, you know, a part of an entity, I would say, right? Part of an entity, right? For which basically you can identify operational and financial information other than what the organization is operating with, right? So for example, this could be separable from the organization. The information for this part of the entity can be separated from the rest of the organization. Okay. Number one. Number two, it engages in revenue generating activities. That means revenue generation, what do you need to do? You need to incur some expenses, you need to have some assets, you need to probably incur some liability, right? Basically to finance whatever operations you want to pursue, right? Again, IFRS 8 says that this revenue generating activity could either be internal or external. It could be both. All right. Internal means intercompany, right? Within the departments. All right. And external means obviously with regards to external customers. Number three, whose operating results are reviewed by a CODM. What is a CODM? Chief Operating Decision Maker. Now, this could be an individual, or this could be a department itself, a function itself. All right. IFRS 8 does not specify this CODM to be an individual or a post. It says it could be a function as well. All right. And a segment for which discrete financial information is available. Again, this goes back to the component of an entity, right? So, for example, if you want to identify a segment, it needs to have its own financial information. You can separate it from the rest of the entity. Okay. This is what these are the characteristics of an operating segment. Now, does an operating segment, do you have to report the operating segment or not? Does it become reportable or not? There are certain criteria for that. All right. Number one is a qualitative criteria. All right. Again, when we talk about IFRS 8, it basically shows you the overview with which the management of the company, right, looks at the segment, right? So if it's an important segment, if the management believes it's an important segment, if management overviews that segment, that particular component of an entity as being important to the operations of the entity, right, or for any other reasons, then that segment becomes reportable under qualitative characteristics, right? Due to qualitative characteristics. Now, the management believes that the segment information to be crucial for use of the financial statements. You have to report it, right? Anything qualitative needs to be reported separately. Could be, in for example, in other standards, it could be through a line item, but in IFRS 8, it's a separate disclosure that goes into your financial statements, right? Quantitative. You need to look at quantitative measures as well. Any of the three characteristics, if met, any of the 3 points if met, you need to report the segment. All right. Number one, the first task was to identify the segment. You identified a segment. Now you need to know, or you need to determine whether this segment becomes reportable or not. All right. So you have qualitative and quantitative characteristics. The first quantitative characteristic says that the inter-segment, that is the internal sales, right, plus the sales to external customers, that is external sales, should be greater than equal to, or if it's greater than equal to 10% of revenue, you need to report the segment. Let's say you did the revenue test. All right. I'll call this a revenue test. You did the revenue test, it failed, right? The revenue is less than 10% of all the reported segments, right? Absolute amount of profit or loss is greater than equal to 10% of combined absolute profit or loss of all segments, right? So for example, what does absolute mean in this case? I would call this number one a profit or loss test, and the third one is asset test, right? So you have these three tests: revenue, profit, loss, and asset, right? Let's talk about absolute. What does absolute mean? So for example, you have three segments, right? You, let's suppose, have segment A, segment B, and segment C. Segment A reports, and you have other segments, right? So segment A reports, let's suppose, a profit of 1,000, 500, 200 loss, right? And the other segments report a loss of 1,500, let's suppose, right? Absolute means, for example, if you talk about segment data, is it reportable or not? You have to look at the profit against profits of all other segments, So only segment B is reporting a profit in this case, right? So you'll compare it with segment B only, that is A plus B, right? So it obviously is more than 10%, that makes it reportable. Similarly, if you talk about segment C will be compared to all other segments, right? Because you have to compare the loss with the loss and profit with the profit. All right. It will not be compared on a net basis. Okay. Third test, asset, which is the simplest test, right? Assets of a segment, if they're greater than or equal to 10% of the entire total assets of all the segments, then your particular segment that you're working for becomes reportable. All right. There's one thing that is called the aggregation of segments, which is called the aggregation criteria, right? We look at this. This usually comes in the exam as well, right? If, for example, you have certain segments, right, that have similar economic characteristics, right? How do you determine whether the economic characteristics are similar or not? You look at these particular points, right? Again, these are principle based. These are not rules. These are not absolute. These are not exhaustive. All right. Whatever, remember, when you talk about IFRS 8, whatever the management assesses on, whatever basis the management makes for decision making, that is what you have to report, right? Number one, nature of products or services. For example, let's say Unilever, right, has a product range of, let's suppose, 10 shampoos, right? So Unilever has a product range of 10 shampoos, right? This could make a this could basically constitute as similar economic characteristics, right? Because obviously shampoos are used for single purpose. Customer base could be different. That is obviously dependent on the customer taste, customer demand. But again, the work that the product does, the objective that the product meets is the same. If not the same, it's similar. Get it? Operating segments exhibiting similar long-term financial performance. This could also be one of the bases, right? For example, net profit margin, for example, GP margin, for example, any turnover percentages, right? If they seem to be similar, you have to assess whether the economic characteristics are similar, right? For example, um, let's say if shampoo A, right, gets you a 10% increase in revenue or probably a GP margin, right? Shampoo B also gets approximately 9.5 or somewhere around between 11, right? What the management will do is the management will assess whether these products are correlated or not, and they'll assess it through looking at the economic characteristics, similar economic characteristics, right? So nature of products and services, this could be one. Nature of production process, very important. Type or class of customer, very important, right? So you never could create a shampoo that is lower tier. For example, lower tier means somewhere around, let's say uh, a $15 shampoo, right? And a shampoo could be of $90 to $100 as well, right? Depends what that product is achieving, right? It could be anti-dandruff, it could be for shine, it could be for various other, for breakage of hair, right? For prevention of breakage, right? There could be various reasons. Distribution method of products or provision of service, another very important point. Nature of regulatory environment. So this basically applies to services or products that are spread out through geographical locations, right? Through different geographical locations. So Asia, you have India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, for example, right? So for example, Unilever is operating in all these countries, right? So you need to assess whether the regulatory environment is similar or not. This also constitutes as a point for similar economic characteristics. Obviously, you will only aggregate it if IFRS 8 says this. You will only aggregate it if majority of the points are met. All right, not just one, not just two, majority. Okay. Very important point. This one, the first one, is very important. It says at least once you've identified all the segments, you need to make sure that at least 75% of external, not internal, 75% of external revenue should be reported through segments, right? Through different segments, clearly identified segments. Okay. Additional segments should be made through aggregation or otherwise if 75% external revenue limit is not met, right? All non-reportable segments that are all small segments, all small businesses or not business components of an entity, right, should be added together and classified as all other segments and report in the financial statements. All right. A segment classified. Now this point, remember, you don't have to look at the aggregation criteria in this, right? Because obviously uh, these are segments that cannot be reported because aggregation criteria is not met. For example, the qualitative threshold is not met, the quantitative threshold is not met, right? So these segments that fall under this category that are basically immaterial, right, you will add all of these segments and report it under all of the segments. Okay. A segment classified as reportable as per the quantitative threshold in the current period, but it was not in the prior period, right, needs to be restated for comparison purposes, right? So for example, in the current year, let's suppose it meets the revenue test, right? The revenue test is, for example, turns out to be 15%. In the previous period, it was 7.5%, right? And neither the profit test nor the asset test was being met, right? Therefore, this segment becomes reportable in the current year, right? It becomes reportable in the current year. What you have to do is you have to restate basically you have to extract the information for the prior year, and you have to show it separate from other segments, so that the shareholder, the user of the financial statements, can compare the information. All right. Next up, you have disclosures, which is obviously not very important for the paper, but you should know, right? What needs to be disclosed? Factors used to identify a reportable segment, number one, right? The judgment made by management for aggregating segments, again, similar economic characteristics, right? They need to be disclosed. What similarities did you find? Okay, because obviously use of financial statements, you need to present the information, or the subject should be clear when you present something in front of the users. All right. Otherwise, there's no use presenting the information if they're not clear about it. Okay. Types of products and services, very important. Segment revenue and expenses, profit and loss, assets and liabilities, right? So revenue and expenses will include both. Revenue will basically include both internal and external, right? So both internal and external, right? You will have, if you have expenses, under expenses you will have your interest expense that needs to be disclosed. If you have some interest income as well, for example, you have invested in a bond, it needs to be disclosed separately and not with your interest income. But for example, let's suppose in case of a bank, the only business that a bank has is is to generate interest income, right? Majorly, right? Broadly speaking, I would say. That means in that case, um, IFRS 8 says that you can merge both of them, right? But if the principal business is not to earn interest income, then you have to show it separately. Okay. Profit or loss, again, the net amount can be disclosed. With regards to assets, you have to show additions and subtractions both of non-current assets, depreciation and amortization, right? And you also have to disclose any material non-cash expense, right? Any material non-cash expense that is not in cash, right? Or additions that is not in cash. All right. Information about major customers, very important. So if there's a customer that gets you more than 10% of the revenue, of the entire revenue of the business, right? This is a major customer. Your entity is, there's a high risk, or not even, I won't call it a risk, but a lot of resources are allocated to earn revenue from that single customer, right? And if that customer goes, or if he, just chooses another business to work with, then you will lose a major amount of a major chunk of your revenue, right? That is of concern and will be of concern to the user of the financial statements, especially to the shareholders. So you need to disclose it. All right. Now when you talk about major customer, right? Remove the S in this case because it will be only one customer, right? When you talk about major customer, you have to mention the geographical location. You have to mention who they are, right? Not obviously the names, but what business they are in and what business you're doing with them, right? You have to disclose this thing. Sorry for the noise. Basis on which a new reportable segment is created. So this basically relates to this point. All right. So if it's segment that becomes reportable in the current year, right, was not reportable in the previous year, and obviously since it's reported in the current year, management would have assessed some points, right? It could be the qualitative threshold, it could be a qualitative threshold or quantitative threshold, right? It could be other reasons which management thinks, yeah, due to which management thinks that it should be reported, right? So you need to disclose the assumptions, you need to disclose the basis. Okay. Entity-wide disclosures are not very important, but obviously they're part of the standard, right? And they basically include businesses that are widespread. So they, for example, they're operating from one country, but they have customers in different countries as well, right? Major customers in different countries as well, right? So entry-wide disclosure for those, you could say that these are for MNCs. Okay. So this is just a quick revision of IFRS 8, and we'll obviously look forward towards our questions on IFRS 8. Okay. Thank you.